Mega T-Tar is completely bonkers. With an amazing ability, outrageous stats and an amazing archetype, it seems to have everything going for it, but nevertheless, it remains an underutilized Mega Pokémon. With this in mind and having made a very in-depth video about Sandstorm teams, I decided to give Mega T-Tar a go, building two different teams. When playing around the Sandstorm archetype, one Pokémon always comes to mind, Excadrill. T-Tar and Excadrill go way back to Generation 5 as an absurdly strong duo with overwhelming synergy, with Sandstorm activating Sandrush, Excadrill's hidden ability. Excadrill truly is the UG to T-Tar's Todo. Sneasler had to join the team. Fake out pressure and the fighting poison type coverage is very good. Having it all the White Herb and having the Unburden ability synergizes very well, as it allows us to keep up the fast-paced offense. At this point, we were extremely weak to ground-type Pokémon like opposing Excadrill and Garchomps, so the addition of Corviknight seemed pretty obvious. Corviknight is a very good Steel Flying-type Pokémon that provides speed control via Tailwind, and like I said, the Steel and Flying type actually pairs beautifully, as it allows you to resist the offense from most of the meta Pokémon. These four Pokémon are extremely strong, but strong physical attackers and rain teams kinda scared me a bit, so I decided to bring Mega Scovillain to the squad. This Pokémon is truly amazing, as it complements T-Tar quite well, diminishing the offensive pressure of the multiple physical attackers currently available in the meta, whilst having a good matchup into hard Pokémon to deal like Mega Starmie or Caesar. And now the teams diverge a little bit. I was still struggling against rain teams, so I had two choices: either take advantage of the rain to unlock more offensive pressure, or use a Pokémon that walls most of the rain staples. Well, Team 1 had Basculegion. No need to explain much more, right? One-shot city, baby. Team 2 was way more defensive, as Rotom-Wash allowed me to have a great offensive pressure against those pesky water-type Pokémon, whilst being able to pressure KO with Thunderbolt, or, if need be, to burn physical attackers with Will-O-Wisp. I had a bunch of success with both iterations of the team, and I will be showcasing both in this video. The rental IDs will be shown at the beginning of said team section. So let's jump into the team breakdown. So let's talk a little bit about the team now. So as you guys saw, we are using a Mega Scovillain and Mega T-Tar team, okay? And these Pokemon are common throughout the whole video, okay? The only Pokemon that changes really is the Rotom-Wash. And you have a set change here with the Corviknight. The rest of the Pokemon remain the same, but it is very important to know what each Pokemon can actually do. I've explained what this Pokemon can do, the spreads that they have and their function in a video that I've posted already. So this team is a little bit of an adaptation so far, okay, since the posting of that video, but let's dive into it. So we have Mega Scovillain here, and why do I want Mega Scovillain on a sand team? Mega T-Tar kinda struggles a little bit against weather teams, more specifically against rain teams, so it is very important to have a positive matchup into those rain teams, and that is why I wanted Mega Scovillain here. Not only that, but I also wanted to counter a very important Pokemon, and that is M-Loppuny. Now M-Loppuny is a very strong Pokemon that has a very good matchup into almost all of our Pokemon, right? So Mega Scovillain was just very important to have, because with its ability, it's not moody, but it's a spicy spray. And Spicy Spray does what? Well, Spicy Spray actually burns the attacker, okay? It can be a special attacker or it can be a physical attacker, but if a move makes contact with Scovillain, Spicy Spray will activate and that Pokemon will be burned. That is very important because it will reduce the offensive pressure of that physical attacker by 50%. It is also very good because it offers cheap damage and can just break focus sashes and mitigate leftovers health recovery, for example. So it is very good. Mega Scovillain here, like I said, was to deal with M-Loppuny and rain teams. You can still bring Scovillain and Tyranitar against rain teams. I actually do advise to do so, but I would primarily just Mega Scovillain. You can also just wait for the Mega and then Mega Tyranitar to just get permanent weather control. But that really depends on the opposing team comp. So now, on the moveset, we have a very offensive Mega Scovillain here. This Scovillain is running the Overheat, Giga Drain, Rage Powder and Protect. Rage Powder and Protect are the most common moves that we see on this Pokemon, as well as the Overheat actually. It is just a very good way to force KOs onto your opponent, right? To force your offensive pressure onto your opponent. But I chose to add Giga Drain here on this set, and why is that? Well, even though we have good amount of bulk here on the Scovillain, these Pokemon's natural defenses are not that high, right? 85 to both defenses and 65 HP is not that much. But if we have a way to recover HP, this Pokemon gets artificially bulkier, right? Because now you get damage, you get low HP, you burn your opponent, so the opponent is going to do less damage to you, right? And then you have a way to just recover a little bit of HP more quickly than you would with Leech Seed, right? With Leech Seed. And yeah, that was the reason for having Giga Drain. And Giga Drain is also very important so that we can have a better matchup into a very predominant Pokemon right now, which is Basculegion. Now the team is actually pretty weak against Basculegion. We have Tyranitar, we have Rotom, we have Excadrill, and Sneasler cannot really touch Basculegion, right? So Basque was a concern and a Pokemon that I wanted to deal with, okay? I highlighted Rotom, but it was not Rotom. I wanted to highlight Corviknight. But yeah, so it is a Pokemon that gives us a little bit of issue. And so Giga Drain is very important. And it pairs beautifully with the speed that we have here. So, for example, if you have Tailwind active, you are faster than the Basculegion, okay? So the Basculegion, a Scarf Basculegion reaches a 214 speed stat, okay? With Tailwind, you reach a 216, okay? This is very important because you will be outspeeding Basculegion and you can just try to KO it with Giga Drain, right? So that is very important. Now, if you don't have Tailwind, you still have a very good matchup into Basculegion. If it's a Scarf Basculegion, Jolly, it will be 214. If it is a Jolly Sash or Mystic Water, if I'm not mistaken, it is 140 or 144, something like that. And if it is Adamant, I think most of them are 130. So they all are faster than your Mega Scovillain. This is actually good because you can, for example, redirect the damage from the Basculegion. This has priority, I know, but the Basculegion will target you, right? Do the less damage in the next turn, and then you can Giga Drain, or you can just press Giga Drain and remove the Basculegion's HP after it attacks you. So the Basque will attack you, right? Your HP bar will get decreased, right? But then immediately after, you can go for the Giga Drain and then just restore your HP back and possibly get a KO. The KO would be possible because not only do we have Giga Drain, which is a stab super effective move, but we also have a modest nature with a little bit of special attack. So that could really help. And yeah, the 2.8 speed is to outspeed Basculegion, like I said, but you can also outspeed M-Loppuny with a Mega Scovillain. Like I said, M-Loppuny is a Pokemon that really threatens this team, and so having an answer for it is very, very important. But yeah, let's go into the Mega T-Tar. For Mega T-Tar, a thing that is very important with this Pokemon is actually conserving the Mega. With Mega T-Tar, you don't want to Mega immediately. That is basically the trick with Mega T-Tar, and that is basically the case because of your ability. You are able to just reset the weather. And so, most of the times, because you have a team that depends on the weather, like for example Excadrill here, you actually just want to preserve your ability. Let's say that you are fighting against an opposing weather team, right? You want to preserve this ability and your Mega so that once your opponent switches their weather condition Pokemon, right, you can then Mega after and get the weather control. You can also just, for example, don't Mega, pressure a KO onto the opponent's weather control option, and then Mega immediately after, and now you have permanent weather control. So it is very important to know when to Mega, okay? Sometimes it's also just important to Mega to get KOs with Rock Slide, Knock or Knockoff. You do get a good attack boost with the Mega Evolution, so you want to leverage that. So like I said, we have Rock Slide and Knockoff. These are very common on Mega T-Tar, right? It's just Rock Slide is just a beautiful spread type move that is very powerful because it has Stab from Mega T-Tar, and you have a 164 base attack stat, right? And Knockoff is Knockoff. I mean, it's a 60 base power move that gets doubled, 65. It gets doubled if your opponent has an item, so it will do a lot of damage, once again, because it is Stab, okay? And so it is a very safe option if you want just to guarantee KOs. Low kick is also very good. This is mainly here because of King Gambit. King Gambit now has been leaving the Choppleberry behind and been getting the black glasses once again. And so having low kick is just a safe way to guarantee a KO. It's also very good against opposing Mega T-Tars. With the bulk that you have on this Pokemon, you can actually just survive a low kick from certain Pokemon. And that is just because we have a lot of HP investment. A very cool thing here is that we actually also have enough bulk to survive a Heat Wave and a Leaf Storm from Charizard and Venusaur, respectively, if you are facing against a Sun team, okay? You will survive both of these moves if you are in the Sand, Mega and Sand. Okay, so that is why I'm always telling you that you have to just conserve your Mega, because it also gives you a massive boost to your special defense stat, which is very, very important, okay? So this Pokemon can actually survive a lot of double ups. Against Garchomp, which is one of the Pokemon that this Mega T-Tar dislikes the most, not only T-Tar but the rest of your team, like for example Sneasler and Excadrill, Garchomp will actually do about 58% with Stomping Tantrum or Earthquake. I think this is the max roll, and to be honest, it's very good because 58% is you still have a lot of HP to work with, right? You have a lot of defensives, right? So you can just withstand another attack if need be, but then you can just pressure the KO here with Knockoff, for example. You will be doing a lot of damage. This survival is also very important because you can just pair your Rotom with your Mega T-Tar, Will-O-Wisp the Garchomp, and now your T-Tar can actually just survive a double attack from the Garchomp and pressure a KO. A Rotom was very important to deal with Garchomp, but I'll talk about it soon. Okay, so we have the 112 speed here. think this is kind of odd. I thought I had put the T-Tar at 113, and 113 is just better, just for the same reason as Mega T-Tar, okay? But for 113 is better than 112 for the similar reason that we want to give Scovillain a little bit of speed, okay? With 112, you can actually outspeed Mega Aerodactyl by 1 point, okay? Mega Aerodactyl gets a 223 speed, and you just outspeed it, which is, you know, very good. Another thing that why do I want the 226 speed? We have a lot of Pokemon that are just EV'd to be slightly faster than the Aerodactyl if they have the Choice Scarf, for example, and I just wanted to have a little bit more speed. A lot of Pokemon are just going for the 112, or a lot of trainers, should I say, are only going for the 112 so that we can outspeed the Aero by 1 point, but with 113 you can actually outspeed the Aero by multiple points, meaning that you are also faster than the Pokemon that are trying to outspeed said Aerodactyl, which is important at the end of the day because you do a lot of damage, right, to them, and that is just very important. Next up we have our Tailwind Pokemon here on the Corviknight. This spread is very good on the Corviknight. We have the leftovers, which is the normal. We have Mirror Armor, also the normal. And the moveset here is of Brave Bird, Roost, Bulk Up, and Tailwind. This makes you a very good answer against Sneaslers. As you can see, Sneasler can be an issue against our team, against Mega T-Tar and Excadrill, right? Usually you want to have Mega Scovillain to answer for the Sneasler, but sometimes Mega Scovillain is just not good enough, and so it is very important to have another answer to Sneasler, right? And Corviknight just fills that niche, right? It can tank pretty well a close combat. It can one-shot it with a Brave Bird, which is absolutely phenomenal. And for example, if your opponent just has a bad matchup into Corviknight, you are safe because you can just bulk up, roost, and just be completely safe. If your opponent, for example, has a Mega Aerodactyl, you are completely fine because you can just outdamage that Pokemon every single day, right? It does not pose a big obstacle for you, which is nice. This Corviknight is also important because it helps you wall M-Loppuny once again. The spread here is very simple. This is a very speedy Corviknight, 103. 103 reaches a speed of 206 in Tailwind. Very important because Jolly Lopunny, J-Lo, reaches 205, okay, if it is max speed. So you will be able to just outspeed the Mega-Loppuny if you set up the Tailwind and then proceed to one-shot it with Brave Bird, which is very nice. This special investment that we have here and HP is very good because you can actually survive a heat wave from a Mega Charizard Y if you are in the sand, which is very, very important. The defense stat here, I remembered what this was. I can't actually remember anymore. But you can check out the video that I made about this spread. It is exactly the same spread, okay? Other than that, I think this Pokemon is very simple, right? Tailwind synergizes very well with Excadrill, right? Because now you have your speed quadrupled, right? From Sandrush and Tailwind, so Excadrill will be the fastest Pokemon on the field and you can just pressure a lot of KOs, which is absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, Mega Garchomp is a very tricky Pokemon for us to deal with in this team, and I just couldn't really find a way to deal with Garchomp if the Garchomp was not burned, right? But sometimes bringing Mega Scovillain just felt like it wasn't ideal, right? And so I wanted to have another answer to Garchomp. And so I do have Corviknight, which is a very important answer to Garchomp, which is something that I should have said previously. Okay, Corviknight is very good into Garchomp, resists both the dragon type attacks that the Garchomp wants to deal with. It's immune to the ground type moves, and Rock Slide doesn't do anything to it, right? Even the newer sets of Garchomp are using Rock Tomb or Poison Jab. Rock Tomb doesn't do anything because it will make the Garchomp just slower because of Mirror Armor, and Poison Jab doesn't do anything because you are a Steel type, right? But I also wanted just another answer into Garchomp, and Rotom was just perfect for it. And that was because it learns Will-O-Wisp, okay? It is very helpful to burn physical attackers, and has the ability Levitate, meaning that Garchomp can only attack this Pokemon if it goes for a Dragon Claw, okay? Rock Slide also is an option, but doesn't do as much damage, and that is very important, okay? Rotom was also very important to deal with rain teams that Mega T-Tar dislikes, so I decided to give it a Thunderbolt. I've seen a lot of Rotoms now pivot from the Citrus Berry to the Magnet. I do think that Magnet is a good item, right? But from the calcs that I ran, you can't actually just pressure KOs into a lot of things, right? You put them in range for the KO, and I just thought that maybe like Thunderbolt is just good enough as it is. I don't need the extra damage because I have the Sand chip damage, I have the Will-O-Wisp chip damage, and I have just really strong attackers in Sneasler, Excadrill, T-Tar. I have a bulk up Corviknight, right? So I decided to go for the bulk, and Citrus Berry just really helped with the bulk. We have the Hydro Pump, which is necessary, right? And Protect. Protect is very important. I like to have Protect in every single one of my Pokemon, right? We have 31 EVs here on the HP, so that, for example, if we get Super Fanged, our HP gets diminished, but it gets diminished in just a perfect range for us to just trigger the Citrus Berry, right? We get into the 78, which is exactly 50%. We trigger Citrus Berry, and now we have 75% HP instead of just 50, which is very, very positive, right? Mousehold is a common Pokemon, or is becoming a common Pokemon. This bulk here is just enough for you to deal with common threats, like for example the Garchomp that I mentioned, right? Is very, very important. The special defense, not only that, but Rotom is also very important to deal with Basculegion, and with this defense investment we can easily take not easily, but we can take a +2 last respects from a Basculegion, heal with a Citrus Berry, and put that Pokemon in KO range with Thunderbolt, which is very cool. Rotom is just phenomenal, right? And we have a lot of bulk onto this Pokemon. With the special defense that we have, we can actually survive a timid Charizard-wise Solar Beam, which is good. We also can survive a Solar Beam coming from a Torkoal, which is kinda common actually. And yeah, this speed, the 213, in Tailwind, in Tailwind you actually get 228. This was the same logic with T-Tar, and I want a Rotom-Wash to just be first, right? I mean, it could come to help us in some situation, and I just wanted the speed interaction to be like this. And yeah, I had another reason for this, don't really mind that. It's to outspeed a lot of 113 Pokemon, because a lot of Pokemon are going for 113 for the same idea that we want to just outspeed a couple of threads. For example, like the Basculegion, right? A lot of Pokemon are just going to go or outspeed the Aero, and it's just, you know, it's the speed depth almost, because you want to outspeed Aerodactyl, which is Mega Aerodactyl, which is 223. A lot of people are going for 224, right? But now a lot of people are actually just going for 226 to outspeed the people that are outspeeding the Mega Aero, right? And so it's just this domino effect. With these speed stats in Tailwind, we actually can also outspeed a Choice Scarf Garchomp and burn it, which is very important. And yeah, that is that. Then we have the Sneasler here. This is the set that I've been just using forever. It is a very bulky Sneasler. We can survive a Stomping Tantrum or an Earthquake from a Garchomp, but I decided to just optimize this a little bit more. I gave this Sneasler a little bit more speed so that we could outspeed a Adamant Garchomp, okay? But not only that, I removed a little bit of HP investment here so that we could utilize it on the speed, right? But also here on the special defense. And why did I give this investment here on the special defense? It was for us to survive a Earth Power, an EP, from Glimmora. Now Glimmora has been becoming a very common Pokemon, right? Paired with Whimsicott. So Gleam plus Whim, right? Has been becoming a very common duo. And sometimes to deal with that duo, I would lead, for example, with the Sneasler and Corviknight. One thing that I noted was that I don't want to go for Fake Out in front of a Whimsicott, right? Because the Whimsicott can just encore me. So I want to just put a little bit of pressure onto my opponent. How can I do that? I can actually just go for a close combat onto the Glimmora, right? Get my speed boost. I'll be outspeeding the Glimmora, most likely. I will be outspeeding the Glimmora, and I will be outspeeding the Whimsicott, most likely, right? And I can KO each one of those Pokemon in the following turn, right? Which would be very important. But I kind of realized that sometimes I just wasn't bulky enough to survive the modest Glimmora, right? And so with this investment, with these 3 points here, you can actually survive an Earth Power and then just click the close combat onto the Glimmora, and now the Sneasler is a huge issue that your opponent has to deal with. So I really like this set. One thing that I noted was, for example, sometimes you don't even want to use Fake Out. Fake Out is good, but sometimes even using just Rock Tomb for the additional speed control after the close combat is absolutely phenomenal. So you do have another option there. And then we finally have here the Excadrill. Very simple set. Focus Sash, Earthquake, Iron Head, Rock Slide with the Adamant Nature. Earthquake is very good because all my Pokemon have Protect, first of all. Second of all, we have 2 Pokemon that are completely immune to Earthquake. And so, yeah, I just decided to go with this because it is just the safest option. It does so much damage. We have a lot of Pokemon that we can use to enable the Earthquake from Excadrill, right? And yeah, just very good. And then Excadrill with the 140 gets to 280 in Sandrush, which outspeeds most of the format, right? And one thing that it does is that even if you are 130, most Basculegions are actually running the Adamant Nature, and with the Adamant Nature you get 130 speed, you don't reach 140, and you can actually just pressure a KO onto them with Earthquake if need be, right? You also have the Rock Slide if you want to go for that flinch chance. The Adamant Nature here is essential so that you can just get a damage boost, right? A 10% damage boost. So yeah, that's basically it. Now, for the other team, let's dive into it. So the other team was actually just the recreation that I did on the channel with the video that I posted recently, that I'm going to be linking in the description down below. And as you can see, we basically have all the same Pokemon, right? The only change here is the Basculegion. But in reality, we have some more changes to the team. For example, the Corviknight. Corviknight here used to have Iron Head, Bulk Up, Tailwind and Brave Bird. It did not have Roost. Now Roost was just detrimental to me because I just wanted to use Corviknight to wall Garchomps, right? And I could not do that efficiently if my Corviknight was just, you know, fainting, right? I don't have Protect, I cannot play safe and wait for the leftovers recovery, right? And it was painful not having Roost. Iron Head was very good because you could actually just deal with Sylveon, right? You could deal with Floette. But for that, I have Excadrill, I have Sneasler, right? I have an adaptability Basculegion with Wave Crash. I don't need that, in all honesty. And that is why I decided to then change the moveset. Everything remained the same. Then we also had a change here to the Excadrill. Everything remained the same, but this Excadrill was using high horsepower. This was actually useful in a multitude of cases because we would actually just guarantee a KO onto any Sneasler, even if it was a bulky Sneasler like I usually do, which is very good. I'm still indecisive between high horsepower and Earthquake. I think I have to play a little bit more with the team if I have the chance, and to then just decide which one is better. But yeah, Earthquake is just good because you have a spread type move, right? High horsepower, you have just a lot of more single target damage, and you also just play around Wide Guard, right? Which is very good. And that was it. The Basculegion. The Basculegion set is just, come on, very simple. As you can see, the Basculegion reaches 143 if it is Jolly. If it is Adamant, it reaches 130. So having the Jolly nature to... sorry, not that. So having the Excadrill be Adamant nature is actually still very positive for us because most Basculegions are running a Adamant nature, meaning that they are always slower than your Excadrill. And even if they are Scarfed and Jolly, you can still outspeed them with Sandrush or Tailwind. So yeah, very positive. The 3 points in defense here was so that you can have a more positive matchup into King Gambit. You could actually survive a Chople Sucker Punch from a King Gambit. Or I mean a non-boosted one. Jesus, I'm fumbling. You could actually just survive a Sucker Punch from a non-boosted King Gambit, which is very good. I just changed this to 4 because you have an even better chance to survive. And the 1 point here doesn't make any substantial difference. So it really is just up to you. And we have here the very basic moveset. And yeah, this is the team. And now we should just go into the matches. So yeah, let's go. Okay, so we are against one of the strongest teams right now, which is Charizard Sun Tail Room. It is a very difficult team to beat. And what can we do to beat it, right? So I actually don't mind just bringing the T-Tar turn 1. I think T-Tar Rotom is kind of interesting, right? Rotom has the Will-O-Wisp, which is going to be very good into my opponent's team. We also have T-Tar, which is going to also be very good against my opponent's team, but we do have to just protect it, right? Next up, who could we bring? To be honest, I kinda just want to bring these two, right? Sneasler and Excadrill. I don't think Corviknight is good here. I kinda just don't want to bring him that much. Yeah, I think this is fine. Farigiraf, Charizard. Okay. So I think this is fine for us. The Charizard is most likely just going to protect, right? No, we don't KO a Colbert Berry Farigiraf with the knockoff. But we do have to just try that. Now, I'm just going to do some calcs here. Colbert, 58 to 68. Okay, so Thunderbolt should be enough to KO the Farigiraf. So let's try that out. Charizard goes out, that makes sense. And Garchomp comes in. That is very good for us. And Farigiraf protects. Okay, so this was a very neutral turn. Nothing happened. Okay. That is fine. That is completely fine. Now Corviknight would have been good here for the switch. But once again, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, I think. I can just Will-O-Wisp the Garchomp, which is going to be the most interesting thing here to happen. Right, Helping Hand, is it going to be Stopping Tantrum, Earthquake, Rock Slide? What is going to happen? If it is Earthquake, that's a little bit sus. Dragon Claw onto the Rotom, we survived that, yeah. Exactly. And we do land the Will-O-Wisp, okay. Nice. This is extremely good. Extremely good. No, it's Helping Hand Farigiraf, which is very interesting. I kinda just want to test this out. The Helping Hand, you are burned. How much damage do you do? So Dragon... okay. So the Garchomp isn't even an issue right now. Like at all. So I'm just going to go for the knockoff into the Farigiraf slot. And now I'm just going to Thunderbolt it. I think my opponent has to set up the Trick Room. Yeah, and it's going to do that right now. So we do go for the Thunderbolt. Oh, okay, that critical hit was very bad. Oh, my opponent... yeah, it's Colbert Berry, but we should get the KO here. Okay. I should have Mega. Okay. Oh, it's Psychic. You know what? This is actually not that bad, because the Farigiraf is just going to get KO'd here, so my opponent does not have any speed control option right now, which is phenomenal, right? How many turns of... I have 2 turns of Sandstorm. And I think I'm just in a fine position, to be honest. I could go Sneasler because I have Fake Out Pressure, right? And I am kind of inclined to just do that. My Sneasler should always live an Earthquake from a Garchomp, from a burned Garchomp. Yeah, it does. Yeah, easily lives it. Okay. So we have to think this through. I will not Mega my T-Tar. I think that's the correct option here. And I'm just going to knock off the Garchomp. And now I'm just going to fake out the Charizard. Charizard is most likely going to protect. It didn't, but it Mega, and now in this next turn it's going to... or in this turn, sorry, it's going to protect. I think that's the best option that my opponent has. Yeah, exactly. I'm just going to knock off the Garchomp. We should be in a fine position. Now my opponent is probably just going to go for the Earthquake. but like I said, we leave this like very comfortably, so I'm fine with this. Yeah. This is fine, right? And yeah, the knockoff does a lot of good damage. Citrus Berry goes out. Phenomenal. That is phenomenal. Because now I can just Mega, Rock Slide. Yeah, it's Mega, Rock Slide. And just Close Combat the Garchomp. Yeah. I think that this is a fine decision here. We ensure the KO onto the Garchomp with a Close Combat from the Sneasler. We should be getting the KO pretty easily, even if it's a bulky Garchomp. The Charizard will not have a KO into either one of my Pokemon because we are at the moment in the sand. It could KO the Sneasler, but it is a close call. So let's see. My opponent goes for the Solar Beam, so now you are stuck. Even if I miss this one, which I hope I don't. Yeah, I don't. Okay, we are fine. We are fine. I think my opponent probably thought that we weren't Mega Theta, right? That is the beauty with holding your Mega Evolution. So yeah, and now Basculegion comes in. Okay. I actually just want one of my Pokemon to go down. So I am just going to go for the double attack. The Basculegion cannot do anything about it, right? So I am just going to go for it. The Sneasler is faster, so this is a good sign. Wave Crash, we are going to get killed by this, but this is fine because, like I said, we are in a fine position. We have Excadrill in the back, and we should be faster than the Basculegion. When I say should, it's we are faster than the Basculegion. And so it's GG. It is a complete GG here. I'm just going to go for an Earthquake and protect. If my opponent protects, we can then just Earthquake Direct Claw in the next turn. The Sneasler is going to go first because it is faster than the Excadrill, right? Aqua Jet, yeah. I think that this play was very safe. And we should be getting the KO here. We are an adamant Excadrill, so we actually don't. Okay. We're actually just going to get the KO with a Sand, so no pressure. Yeah, my opponent recognizes that, and it is a GG. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so this is very cool because I can actually just showcase the Scovillain here. Scovillain is going to be hard to bring, but against Lopunny I think it's a must. I'm also going to bring T-Tar for the weather control. So yeah, that is going to be very, very important. I'm thinking of Scovillain. Giraffe, I think it's a bring for my opponent. It's Scovillain in the front. That I am sure, right? So I want to know what is going to be the partner for that Scovillain. I think it's going to be the Rotom. In all honesty, I think it's Rotom. Tyranitar in the back for weather control. And... I think it's going to be Sneasler. I think it's Sneasler. Excadrill would have been amazing here as well, but I'm kind of unsure. I am really unsure. So it could be Mega Lopunny or Mega Greninja. Mega Greninja is very bad against our team. Meaning it's very good against our team. Bad for us. So it's Lopunny, Sylveon. This is completely fine. This is completely fine. So I'm expecting just a fake out Hyper Voice. The Lopunny could have what's its name? The Lopunny could have Anchor, so I am not going to go for the Protect. And I'm just going to Will-O-Wisp the Lopunny, going for the Giga Drain onto the Sylveon, because Sylveon won't, it will do a lot of damage to us, but we can just recover a whole lot with the Giga Drain as well. So let's see. It is going to be very important to just burn the Lopunny, right? Now that we know it's our opponent's Mega, it's going to be very important. Fake out onto the Rotom, I was kind of seeing that, and that is totally fine. Okay, we are faster than the Sylveon, which I don't particularly like, and it's a Calm Mind Sylveon. Okay. I really don't like that. But to be honest, I think it's still fine. Because I have Sneasler in the back, right? I think it's still fine. And it's important to just Will-O-Wisp the Lopunny. I really need that Pokemon gone. Maybe I should have just attacked. Instead of going for the Will-O-Wisp, I could have just Thunderbolt the Lopunny, right? Do a little bit of chip damage. Maybe even double target the Lopunny. Because the Lopunny has to be afraid of the redirection from the Scovillain, right? Anchor. Oh, that is fine. I was going for the Giga Drain. So that is fine. And Will-O-Wisp hits. Okay, this is very good, by the way. This is very important. Yeah, this is very good. Giga Drain onto the Sylveon again, exactly what I wanted. Like I said, we are in a very good position. Hyper Voice goes through, doesn't KO the Rotom, which to me is kind of unfortunate. I wanted the Rotom to go down. Because now the Rotom is just going to get Anchored, right? And that is going to be a little bit annoying. I'm just going to try to double up the Sylveon. My opponent shouldn't let this happen. I think if he does let this happen, it's brave. After you, yeah, after you, Hyper Voice. That is very smart from the opponent. Yeah, Scovillain survives. This is good. This is the position that I wanted. So I'm very happy with this. And Anchor should be over, right? I think it ends now. No, it's one more turn. Oh, sorry, it's this. Yeah, one more turn. Okay, I miscalculated that. Yeah, and it's just Sneasler, obviously, right? I don't need to do anything fancy here. The Lopunny isn't going to be doing any damage to us. So I'm just going to Giga Drain that slot and go for the Dire Claw onto the Sylveon. And we should be fine. Does my opponent have... He does not have anything that resists Dire Claw, so I'm just going to go for the Dire Claw onto the Sylveon slot. I think it's just a fine decision. Probably the Farigiraf. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to close combat, but this is still fine. We don't survive this with a Scovillain. Okay. It is kinda annoying. Okay, the Farigiraf went to sleep. that is amazing. Okay, so I'm just going to bring the Titar here. And it's going to be a very simple protect close combat onto the Lopunny slot. So just a protect and close combat. The Farigiraf has to take one turn of sleep, so we will always be good on that front. My opponent wants to bring the top wall here. That would be silly. My opponent also doesn't seem to have protect on the Lopunny, which is very good. That is very good news for us. And close combat goes onto the Lopunny slot. And yeah, it's just a KO. A very good KO. Now the sleep onto the Farigiraf was kind of clutch. No, it was not that important, but it's just a good insurance, right? And why do I say that it wasn't actually that important? It's because we actually still have weather control with the T-Tar, so Torkoal isn't really an issue for me, right? And with the bulk that we have on Mega T-Tar, Sylveon shouldn't be an issue as well. And our, what's it called? Our Sneasler has a lot of bulk, so yeah, also very good. And this is going to be, once again, a very simple play. We are just going to go for a Dire Claw onto the Sylveon slot and knock off onto the Farigiraf. We should be getting a KO here. Sylveon detects. Maybe I should have just doubled up the Farigiraf to ensure that my opponent does not have the chance to get Trick Room. But my opponent also just doesn't have the Colbur Berry. Okay, but that was a sloppy play by me, to be honest, because my opponent did go for the Trick Room, I think. It was the only way that they could bring this one back, right? So I did play that path. I should have double targeted the Farigiraf. But yeah, it was a GG. And yeah, let's go into the next one. Okay, so this is also a very interesting team. We have here the Snorlax Hawlucha duo. We also have the Sableye here, which is very peculiar, to say the least. Now Charizard is a real threat to our team, and I have to find a way to just deal with that, right? My opponent already locked in, so he knows exactly what he wants to do. I think that Hawlucha is just the best option. For my opponent, so I do want to bring the Corviknight here. Once again, Rotom is kind of clutch, so I want to bring Rotom. T-Tar is a must bring as well. My opponent could just leave the Charizard at home, which would be annoying, but I mean, it is what it is, right? And then do we bring Sneasler or Excadrill? Kinda like the Excadrill here. Yeah, let's see. I'm not bringing Sneasler because my opponent has Farigiraf, has Sinistcha, has Sableye, so fake out pressure is not that important, right? Sneasler does have a good matchup into a couple of their Pokemon, but not that impressive. And the speed control that we can get from from the Sand Rush is going to be very important. So our opponent did lead with the Sableye. So what I'm thinking here is that Sableye is actually just a sunny day Sableye. So that is very interesting. I just want to double up the Farigiraf, right? We shouldn't KO the Farigiraf, not even close. But damage is damage, so I am just going to go for it. So yeah, we don't do enough. It depends on my opponent's investment, but we shouldn't do nearly enough. So I'm just going to go for the Hydro Pump. Oh, okay. Okay, that is fine. Brave Bird goes onto the Farigiraf slot. And it does seem to be like I was calking, right? Yeah, I think it's in the range that I was calking for. So this Farigiraf can actually just be an offensive Farigiraf, which is very interesting. Yeah, it can actually just be an offensive Farigiraf. So I just want to knock that Pokemon out. My opponent could just Will-O-Wisp my Corviknight slot, which wouldn't be good, but I mean, it is what it is. Oh, okay. Deflect. I mean, this is fine. Psychic. Yeah, this is going to do a lot. Yeah. Just barely. Okay. He should just get the... Oh, that did so much damage still. Okay. So we saw Fake Out, we saw Reflect. So it's probably dual screen and the sunny day, right? So I'm expecting just the Charizard to hop in right now. Snorlax. Okay, this should be... Yeah, I think I know what this is. So I'm just going to go for the Will-O-Wisp on the Snorlax. This should be like a belly drum set. Yeah, light screen. This is a belly drum set. I am pretty positive that that is the case. Yeah, it's stockpile. I've seen this. I've seen this. But this is still fine, right? We hit the burn, so that is very nice. It should be leftovers, so we are just basically cancelling out the leftovers. That is just good enough for me, right? Let's see. It isn't, so it's probably Chesto Resto or Citrus, which is very cool to see. Now the Sableye is a little bit annoying, but at the same time it isn't doing anything right now. So I'm just going to attack the Snorlax. I'm going to steal Gravity. Oh, it... okay. Okay, just Fissure then. That is what I'm expecting here. So I kind of want to see... That did 0 damage. How much damage does my Corviknight do? My Corviknight does a lot of damage, but it is a leftover set. So that is just probably a Fissure Snorlax. I can't do anything right now to the Snorlax. It can just OHKO anything that I want to throw at it. So I'm just going to go and try to KO it. Sableye goes out, so we are going to be seeing the Hawlucha. Snow Guard Fissure, that is for sure. How can I stop this? I actually just can't, right? I don't think I can actually. Yeah, I think I'm just going to get swept by this. Hawlucha will just be faster than any Pokemon that I have right now. Well, that is very interesting. I'm kinda cooked. To be honest. I think I just have to go for the Brave Bird onto the Hawlucha slot. And Gravity is still up. I think I'm just going to double up onto the Hawlucha slot. It's going to be Entrainment, no guard, into the Snorlax slot, which is very, very annoying. Yeah. Imagine if I had a Roar. That would have been so goated. Thunderbolt. Yeah, and then it's just going to be a Brave Bird onto the Hawlucha. You get the para, but that doesn't matter at all. I really thought it was just Belly Drum, but I should have just thought that, yeah, it was going to be a Fissure set. That was very silly of me. So it's Fissure onto the Corviknight. So what is the win condition here? What is the win condition here? not look like, but we are actually just damaging the Snorlax pretty well, right? So my opponent has to set up the Reflect, and that is going to be just impossible. Maybe if we crit, we get a chance, right? Knockoff doesn't do any damage, so I do have to just go for the low kick. Is Gravity still up? Gravity is still up. So with the Rotom, I should just go for the Hydro Pump. Now we have to kind of just pray for the critical hits. That's the only way we can actually win, right? So let's see, my opponent should always just go for the T-Tar. I forgot he had Fake Out. So my whole plan just went up in flames. Forgot he had that. Fake Out screens. I don't know why, but I'm also always thinking that it has Sunny Day. Okay. There is another way we can win this. That is just flinching. Completely forgot about that. Okay. Iron Head is what it does more damage, right? If we crit with Iron Head, can we actually KO? Well, we can actually KO if we crit. 20% against 30%. Is Gravity up still? One turn of Gravity. Reflect. I mean, I don't know, man. I think the out is just flinches, so I have to go for that. I don't have any other way, right? Sadly goes for the Reflect, that is fine. If they focus my Excadrill, I'm actually fine with that. Because I have the Focus Sash, right? Hydro Pump. Okay. Fissure. We should survive. We have Focus Sash. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that is fine. If I had protected the T-Tar, we probably just would have won, right? And now Gravity goes down, right? Yeah, Gravity return to normal. Okay. Reflect, stockpile. Okay. So my opponent has to make a choice. I have to go for the Iron Head here. And Thunderbolt the Snorlax. There is a way we win this, right? Light Screen. So my opponent did not go for the Gravity. This is very important. Do we get it? Do we actually just get this? Rock Slide. Okay. Oh, wait, I shouldn't Thunderbolt. My opponent has no guard. Okay. So it's 10%. Wait. So it's 10%. So I can actually just go for the Protect here. We might just win this. Okay, it's going to go down on a roll, but we might just win this. Gravity, okay. Let's see. Fissure, Doesn't go through. We do get Sandstorm chipped. Oh yeah. Yeah, we win this. We win this now. Yeah, we win this. We just go for the Hydro Pump. My opponent has no guard, so it's going to be hit by the Hydro Pump. And Gravity is also up, so it's a double insurance. Right, my opponent cannot protect. If he protects, he gets KO'd. The Sablet does not have any attacks, so this is just fine for us. Hydro Pump connects, and bye bye Snorlax. Bye bye. Wow, what a match. This was this was kinda hard, I'm not gonna lie. If I protected the T-Tar in the turn that Sableye was coming in, I should have won, I would have won, I mean. And I should have just realized that no guard means that I can always target my opponent with non-accurate moves. So that was a very silly mistake by me. Yeah, so let's go into the next one. Okay, so this seems a pretty interesting team. We have Mega Heracross and Mega Gardevoir, and it's a rain team, which is going to be tough to deal with. Rotom is going to be so important here. What can we do? I think Rotom is very good here. Rotom is kinda goated. As well as Sneasler. Sneasler is also pretty nice. I could actually also go for the Mega T-Tar, but the Pelipper could just walk in. Would that be fine? I think I prefer to play it slow. So I think I'm going to bring T-Tar. And I think it's an Excadrill game. Let's think this through. So I'm expecting Mousehold Gardevoir, right? Mousehold Gardevoir kinda cooks me if they lead that. So I might just go with this. Rotom in the back and Sneasler. Yeah, I think this is it. Corviknight would also have been good here as well. But let's see. My opponent leads with what? It's Mousehold Gardevoir? Yeah, it's Mousehold Gardevoir. So this was a nice turn for us. Oh, thank you. So we know that the Gardevoir is very fast. It's faster than my T-Tar, so that is saying something. To be honest, I'm just going to Rock Slide, normal Rock Slide, and Rock Slide again. I lose nothing by doing this. No pressure, right? So I'm just going to do this. Gardevoir is not the bulkiest of Pokemon, so we should be fine here. I didn't want to bring my Rotom in this position. I think it's kind of a waste. So yeah. Is it Rain Dance, Mousehold? We are going to see. So Rock Slide goes through. It does a good amount, actually. Mousehold flinched. Okay. And another Rock Slide is coming up. And this one does a lot of damage. Okay. So this is the problem with Mousehold Gardevoir, right? You can easily just check them, like checkmate them. With this quote-unquote strategy. I kinda want to just protect the T-Tar here. And go for an Earthquake. I think I'm just overthinking this too much. I think it's just a Rock Slide and Rock Slide again. I don't need to overthink this, like at all. Pelipper comes in. This is fine. We are going to lose our speed with Excadrill, but that is still fine. I can just reset the weather next, in the next turn, so totally okay. Hyper Voice, we should survive this with both. Yeah, we do, which is massive. And just a double Rock Slide once again. Okay, so seeing this damage, I don't want to jinx it. Okay, seeing this damage, we should kill both. That's what I wanted to say that, but I was kind of nervous. The critical hit, I don't think it mattered at all, because we did 45% with the Excadrill. That is a non-stab move. Yeah, I think we would have always KO'd that. So I'm pretty happy with the outcome here. Now we see the Mousehold, like here, and the Basculegion. Okay. I think this is very simple, it's just Mega, protect here the Pokemon, right, and just go for an Earthquake. Yeah, I just want to double check that I did that. Mega, protect, Earthquake. Okay. I think this is always the play. And we should be fine. We have the Rotom. We have the Rotom in the back. So we should always be fine. Also protects. Okay, that makes sense. Is he just going for the Aqua Jet onto the Excadrill? It didn't go. So I'm thinking that this Basculegion is scarfed. So that might be important. Okay, we... less respects. Okay. That is interesting. I want to calc this actually. Scarf adaptability, Basculegion. With Friend Guard. Oh, he forfeited, okay. I think the game was not over, but yeah, let's go. I mean, the game was not over. I'm thinking about Corviknight, Sneasler. I don't think that would be bad, but if they lead Charizard, I'm not in a good position. But to be honest, I think it's just worth it to do this, right? I really do think that is kind of worth it to do it. I can just bulk up in front of the Sneasler. Yeah, I think that this is it for me. I think this is nice. Let's see. That is a crazy lead, but this was kind of what I was talking about, right? But yeah, just going to go for the Tailwind here. No need to do anything else, and just a very simple fake out. Oh, it's Mega Charizard X, actually. Okay, I mean, it makes sense. We saw Sinistcha in the preview. Okay. My Sneasler is faster, which is impressive. I was not... Yes, of course. Of course, this is not good. But depending on the investment, can't we actually just KO it? Let's check this out. I'm going to, just for the benefit of the doubt, I'm just going to give this fella 32 HP Vs and a +1 to the defense. I mean, we actually survived this. I think I'm just going to go for the, to be honest, just Brave Bird Close Combat seems so nice here. Sneasler protects, I was kind of expecting that. So that is nice. Close Combat. Neither of my Pokemon faints from an attack from the Charizard, which is very important to note. My opponent is going to try to take out the Corviknight. It shouldn't be able to. Yeah, I don't think it is able to do that. Oh, it is. I was clocking in rain. But my opponent went for the Sneasler, so that is fine. That is fine. This is just the best case scenario for us. Yeah. Yep. Literally the best case scenario for us. Because what can my opponent do right now? Right? And I think it's just Excadrill, to be honest. Insane. So we are going to get intimidated, which is annoying. But you know what is amazing? Is that I can actually just bulk up the Corviknight, protect the Excadrill and be in a good position. And then next turn I can get a double KO. My opponent just protected the Sneasler. So I think that this decision was correct still. But I have to take out the Sneasler as soon as possible. Sneasler goes out. And who comes in? Sneasler. I don't think that that's a good thing for you though. Is it? So the Insane is going for the Flare Blitz on the Corviknight, I assume. Parting shot. Yeah man, what? That doesn't do anything. Now my opponent can only close combat one of us. So I'm just going for this. The Corviknight is in a fantastic position. My opponent cannot damage the Corviknight, so I'm in a very, very good position. Okay, but that is fair, but that doesn't do anything. The Excadrill is getting like negative attack right now, but I really don't care about that. No, it isn't a good amount of damage, but it is damage. And Brave Bird, is it going to KO the Insane? Almost KOs the Insane. That is fantastic. Gacha. Does do a good amount of damage. Okay, but we are fine. I can't really do much here. I can just try to Brave Bird the Sneasler and go for another Earthquake. Yeah. Take out on the Excadrill is smart. Do we get the KO onto the Sneasler? Kinda want to confirm that. Almost do. Okay. Citrus, okay. Gacha. Okay. I kinda just want to roost and protect the Excadrill. I don't lose anything by doing this. I just get the HP back, right? And the Corviknight is still a wall for my opponent to overcome right now. So I'm just fine with this. Sneasler also protects, okay. So what do you do with your Insane? Is it Flare Blitz? It is. Okay, Incineroar goes down. Sneasler will come in. That is still fine. That is still fine. And why is that fine? I mean, there is nothing stopping me from just doing this, right? But I think I need speed control. But I need to get rid of that Sneasler. Yeah, let's see if my opponent allows me to do this. Close combat. Okay, we survive this. Yep. And you are White Herb. Okay, so that is actually just good for us as well. Yeah, that is phenomenal. And I'm going to get the KO onto the Sneasler. I already know that I can do that, right? So that is very important. Yep. Okay. Now, the Sneasler can KO me. But the Corviknight is way slower than my Excadrill, so I'm just going to Roost and Earthquake. We should be fine here. Roost is going to be the last move used, so yeah. Close combat, yeah, my opponent, yeah, okay, that is fine. Yeah, it could only close combat, right, the Corviknight, so we would always get the KO here. If it lived with a little bit of HP, which would be impossible, we always had the Sandstorm chip as well, which we could play around that as well. So yeah. GG, let's go on to the next one. So we are going against a Mega Dragonite team with a couple of threats. Okay, so I think that T-Tar is amazing, right? Now the thing is, do I want to lead Tyranitar or what do I want to do, right? Primarina is really threatening, I think. My opponent does not have fake out pressure, and that is kind of very good for me, because I can just lead with the Sneasler, right? And Sneasler will be doing a lot of damage, and I'm quite a fan of that. We have fake out, we could go just straight up for the close combat, we can do an important double up, right? So I think that could be massive. Do I lead with the Basculegion though? I don't dislike it. I really don't dislike it. And then it's Tyranitar. Is it Corviknight? Is it ever Corviknight? Yeah, I think it's Corviknight instead of Exca. Yeah, I might regret that, but I think that that's the choice. Yeah, so why am I going with the lead that I'm going? We have fake out spread. Oh my god, 826. Okay. Polito Dragonite. Okay. So this is good. This is good. This is very good. Because we have fake out pressure, like I said, and we can get permanent rain control. So I'm just going to go for a fake out and wave crash. And I think this is a safe play. What I'm going to do next is switch out one of my Pokemon for T-Tar. Mega Dragonite here, okay, that is fine. I'm just going to go for the Fake Out onto it. Dragonite protects, makes complete sense, right? It makes complete sense. Now Fake Out goes wide, of course, and Basculegion goes for the Wave Crush onto the Politoed. It's going to do a lot of the... Oh my god. Okay. It's... Okay. Oh my god, man. Can't really say much, can I? I'm going to bring Corviknight here just for a potential speed control option. And I'm going to Wave Crush. If I Wave Crush the Garchomp, am I expecting the Garchomp to just protect? I'm going to Wave Crush the Garchomp. I'm expecting an Earthquake here from the Garchomp. Yeah. This is fine, the Basculegion survives this. So I'm not too scared about that. Yeah. Basculegion is quite bulky, to be honest, it has a lot of HP. And we get another KO. Adaptability, Wave Crush in the rain, I mean, it's quite crazy. It's quite crazy. Now the Dragonite is probably going with the Dragon Pulse onto the Corviknight. So this was very good for us. This was very good. Okay. That critical hit on the Politoed definitely mattered, and I'm kinda tired. I'm kinda sad about it, to be honest. Yeah, it would have survived handily. Now I'm just going to bring the Sneasler. No need to do anything else. And the Primarina goes in. Okay, so very simple plan here, right? It's just a very simple Tailwind with a Fake Out onto the Dragonite. I don't need to do anything inventive. As we see here, the Dragonite goes on the offensive. It kinda has to, right? My opponent does have to play a pretty offensive game now. But we are in a phenomenal position right now. Yeah. So what I'm going to look at here is how much damage does Sneasler do into the Primarina. It does a lot of damage, 78 to 93%. My opponent cannot really touch the Corviknight, so I'm just going to use the Corviknight to do a bit of damage into the Dragonite slot. And I think that's the choice, right? Who do I have in the back? It's T-Tar. You know what? I shouldn't do that. I should actually just double up onto the Primarina slot. That's no bulk Primarina. Okay, that's okay. That's that. Okay. And Braver. So the plan goes. Okay. It didn't make a significant difference. Okay. Hurricane, we are going to lose the Sneasler, but that is fine. We still have our Tyranitar in the back, right? Now T-Tar does have a very good chance to KO the Dragonite with knockoff, I think. Oh, my opponent forfeits. Okay. Yeah, no, we had to go for the... Yeah, we could go for the knockoff. Yeah. Okay. Okay, not 1700. Okay, let's go for one more. Okay. Okay. Another rain team. Oh, but this is the Sabatron Zen team. Zang team. Okay. How can I counter this? I mean, Sneasler is fantastic, right? I think Sneasler is pretty good. The thing is that I can't stop the Sableye, right? Setting up Tailwind is useless because that Corviknight has Squash. So I'm going for the Sneasler lead. I think the Excadrill is not an option. I have to bring that. And I think it's just Basque. Let's see. So this is going to be a very hard game. Very hard game. Arcalodon Sableye. No, Dragonite's Basculegion. That is interesting. My opponent cannot knock out any of my Pokemon right now. So I kind of feel nice by doing this. Why am I leading this? And why am I choosing to do what I'm choosing? So the Sneasler survives a Wave Crash from the Basculegion as well as the Excadrill because of the Focus Sash, right? I don't want to fake out. I think it's a little bit of a waste. Dragonite goes Mega. Does it protect? That is a very big question. Probably it does protect. Right. It doesn't. Okay, so my opponent greeded out. So this was what I wanted to see. He actually went for the Sneasler, which was a little bit odd. He's probably just going to try to get rid of the Sneasler as fast as it can. Which makes sense. But now I'm just going to go for a very powerful Rock Slide here. Okay, Tailwind goes through. I should check out the RM team, right? Oh my god, man. Come on. That is a critical hit onto the Basque. At least I got a crit. But still, I don't think... sorry, I have to pull this up. I don't know... I have to do this. I have to do this, right? I have to go for another... I think I have to do this, right? Wave Crash. Okay. Maybe that wasn't the play. Maybe that wasn't the play. Flamethrower. Okay, Rock Slide connects. And we get the Basque. Okay, so it kind of went like I wanted. Which is nice, but it was unfortunate that we kind of just missed that that first Rock Slide, and that was really scary, right? But yeah, that's fine. I'm going to bring my speed control option now, which is in this case the T-Tard with the Sandstorm that is going to give the Sand Rush to my Excadrill. Okay, my opponent did bring the Pelipper. It was nice of them to do that, but we kinda cooked them. Now, did the Pelipper have... The Pelipper did have Wide Guard. That is very important. Okay, so I have to check the D-Knight here. Does the D-Knight go down if it has 48%? Iron Head should KO. Iron Head should KO. I'm still just going to go for the Rock Slide. And Iron Head onto the D-Knight. Pelipper goes for the White Guard, but I did have to go for the Rock Slide, I think. D-Knight was still faster. Okay. So D-Knight was still faster. Okay. Okay, that is interesting. I mean, we have Basculegion, so... we have Basculegion, so, you know. How many turns of Tailwind do you have? 1. Okay. So, do I know all of your Pokemon? You don't have a Basque, so that is important. Okay, I kinda just wanna go for the Mega knockoff and Last Respects. Lock myself into Last Respects. The D-Knight should be faster. Okay, the D-Knight should still be faster than my Basculegion, but whatever. Did I Mega? That is a very important question. Did I Mega? I hope I didn't, because I didn't want to. Okay. Oh, I didn't want to Mega at all. Well, we should kill the Sinistcha though. Draco, do we survive this? We do survive with 4 HP! Let's go! Last Respects on the Dragonite should pick up the KO. It does. It does. And knock off onto the Sinistcha. Gets the Sinistcha. Okay. It's not over though. It's not over. It's not over. Can the Pelipper KO my Titar? This is why I didn't want to... No, it doesn't. It doesn't KO. And my Titar is slower. So I have to go for the Rock Slide. We are speed tying with the Pelipper. No, we're not. We are always faster. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I trolled you. I trolled you. Yeah. But I didn't want to Mega. Like, that Mega there could have cost us the game. Like, I didn't want to Mega. I didn't want to Mega. That was very, very silly of me. Like, in one way, like, I had to, right? Because in that sense, like, I wouldn't get the KO onto the Sinistcha, but I shouldn't have Mega. I shouldn't have Mega at all. Because getting the KO onto the Sinistcha was not important at all, right? And I didn't want to Mega. Like, I'm actually very, very angry with myself that I did Mega. But, well, we did get it to 1700s. So, yeah. That is nice. That is nice. Okay, so we are up against what might be a complicated team to deal with. This is Venusaur Screens. So this could be a little bit dangerous for us. And how are we going to be playing this? I don't think that Mega Titar is that good, right? Yeah, I think we have a lot of counters for Mega Titar. I do like Scovillain, Mega Scovillain here. They have a couple of physical attackers. Yeah, I do think that this is fine. So I think it's a Mega Scovillain game. Corviknight has to come, that is... yeah, that is a requirement. So I'm thinking of just like leading Corviknight, Sneasler for example, Scovillain, or I could even just go Scovillain, right, and Corviknight, Sneasler and Basque, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is fine. I have to do some calcs afterwards, but I think it should be fine. Brave Bird should do a lot of damage to the Mega Veno. Okay. So it's actually Sableye with the Mousehold. So this is a very odd lead. What do I want to do? I mean, KOing the Mousehold, I think it's the best option. Either the Mousehold or the Sableye, right? Going for the Tailwind could be important, but not right now, I think. So I think I'm just going to target the Sableye. I think it's the biggest disruptor, right? So I am just going to target it. And Mega and Giga Drain. So we are doubling the Sableye slot. We are probably going to get redirected by the Mousehold, but I think it's kind of fine. This is a very odd lead, so I kind of want to see. Okay. Okay, so this is not great. We'll respond to the Corviknight and the U-turn on the Mousehold. Okay, so my opponent did identify that the Corviknight was the biggest wall that they had to overcome, right? Black-Pink is the Milotic here. Okay. We still do a very good amount of damage into the Sableye, and Brave Bird does go through, so this is very good, right? We do a little bit of damage to the Sableye. I think it's a good amount of damage, to be honest. Okay. So, Milotic is here. I actually don't know if the Sableye is going to keep itself on the field, right? If it does, we still have a good amount of damage to distribute into that slot, so I think I'm just going to be doing this. And I think it's just a simple Giga Drain onto the Milotic slot. My opponent does have to... Oh, it's a Hypnosis. Okay. Okay. We do a good amount to the Milotic, which is obviously phenomenal, right? Now, Gravity, I was not expecting that. Okay, and the Sableye survives at 2 HP. Okay, that is fine. That is actually fine. Okay, so slow Hypnosis is always tricky to deal with, right? But I actually don't really dislike that. So we have seen Will-O-Wisp and Gravity. Okay. What can I do now? So the Corviknight is chilling here. It cannot get put to sleep, right? So that is a very cool thing. Mousehold is in the other slot. So it has to be Mega Venusaur, right? So I have to be aware of that. I think I just keep targeting... Yeah, I think I just keep doing this, right? We get rid of the Sableye, which I don't think it's bad, because my opponent is now going to be bringing probably the Mega Venusaur. But I think we are fine. Muddy Water. Okay, so you are in a critical hit. The good thing is that, oh my god. Okay, the game just got a lot worse. Oh, the game just got atrociously worse, man. Jesus. Okay. So now I am just forced to target the Milotic, right? But the opponent has redirection. I'm still just going to try my luck. I have to do it. But giving a +2 to the Milo, like, come on. It's fine, it's fine. Population Bomb. Oh, and it's going to hit all the 10 times because... because gravity is up, okay. And it's a pretty unique team, but now your Milotic is going to get KO'd, right? I'm just going to Brave Bird it. Oh my god, okay. Okay. Scovillain survives, so that is nice. At least he survives. But yeah, this is turning out a little bit rough. Now I want to bring the Basculegion, right? But one Mousehold might just have redirection. So I don't want to deal with that. The Scovillain is forced to just wake up this turn. So I kinda just wanna do the fake out onto the Mousehold to stop the follow me and just Giga Drain the Milotic. The Scovillain is going to wake up this turn. That is guaranteed. We got 2 turns of sleep. So yeah, it's just guaranteed. And we should be able to just KO the Milotic, right? Which is going to be very important. Yeah, okay. Okay. Now, I presume that what is coming in is going to be the Venusaur, right? I think that's the... yeah. Okay. So what we do here... I think we just go for the close combat onto the Mousehold slot. I think it's the best option. Now, the cool thing about Venusaur is that Venusaur is very bulky. I don't like that, right? If I go for the close combat on the Mousehold, we KO the we KO the Mousehold, in theory, if it doesn't have the Chople Barrel, which I hope it doesn't. It does seem to have a lot of offensive investment, right? Because Fake Out did so much damage, and my opponent used Population Bomb. The Mousehold is faster than the Sneasler. Okay. So we are actually just losing the Sneasler here. Okay, we didn't have Protect on the Sneasler, so that is my fault. But the Venusaur didn't Mega. Okay. Oh, this game is not... This game is not going into the video, man. I swear to God. I swear to God it isn't. I have to give Protect to the Sneasler. Like, yeah. I have to give Protect to it. It's just too important. Just Wave Crash the Mousehold. Yeah, okay. And I was going to Rage Powder. Yeah. Let's go to the next turn. I'm just going to add Protect to the Sneasler. Okay, so we are going against M-Feraligatr. Possibly. Going into M-Feraligatr. So I'm seeing Trick Room decorate stuff, and that is quite worrisome for me, right? My opponent does have the Incineroar, This is quite interesting, actually. I'm not able to kill the Sneasler in one go, and that is a problem, right? Because my opponent is going to be setting up the Trick Room. That is guaranteed. And if they do that, I'm in trouble, right? So what can I do to, in a way, fix that? I think that Mega Scovillain is the option here. But yeah, I think I'm just going Scovillain, Corviknight, Basculegion, and probably Sneasler. But this is going to be a tricky one, I think. I could have just brought Basculegion in the front as well. Maybe that was a misplay by my end, right? We have to see. Sinister Sin. So yeah, this was what I was thinking of. Now, the goal here is... Okay, we do Intimidating Sin, which is very important for us. My opponent has to fake out either the Scovillain or the Corviknight, right? And do I want to play along with that? Right? Do I want to play along with that? Because my opponent sets up the Trick Room. Is going to be tricky because we have to deal with M-Feraligatr, right? But we do have a good answers into this. I think I'm just going to protect here, and I'm actually just going to bulk up. So what is the thought process about this? So the Scovillain is going to get a Moody boost. I'm hoping that I can get a defense Moody boost here, right? And I'm going to be setting up the bulk up with the Corviknight. Now the bulk up is going to be very important because now I can just threaten a couple of KOs, right? So we get the Moody boost, attack rises, and defense fell. This is not the role that we wanted at all. Not the role that we wanted. I think I'm going to bring the Sneasler in. And I think I can just bulk up again with the Corviknight. So that's what I'm going to do. Sinister goes out, that makes sense, right? And Feraligatr comes in. Okay. Now, what am I expecting here? I'm expecting like a parting shot or a Flare Blitz. Okay. This is going to do... Okay, not nearly as much as I thought it would do, so that is very good, obviously. Okay. Now we are in a... I mean, it's not a tricky position, right? I don't think it is at all a tricky position. So let's just think this out. So I'm seeing a Mega Feraligatr here, probably just max adamant, right? Into the Corviknight. It's going to do a good chunk of damage, right? Brave Bird does not KO. So what I'm thinking here is actually just take out the Feraligatr. I could just close combat though. Close combat and Brave Bird. Because yeah. And Sinister comes in. Okay. I was not expecting this exact outcome here, but this was kind of good because now I'm just going to... That won't KO me. Yeah, it's resisted. No, it's not. Okay, my bad. But yeah, we just KO the Sinister here, which is very good. We do take a lot of damage, which is not the best thing, but now my opponent kind of just wasted a lot of pressure, right? Because now I'm just going for the close combat onto the Insane slot. We do not pick up the KO, but that is fine, mostly, right? It is a Citrus Berry, okay. We proc our White Orb, okay. Leftovers onto the Corviknight. So Corviknight is actually just putting up a lot of pressure into my opponent, right? So let's see. Trick Room is 2 turns. 2 turns. I can actually just protect the Sneasler here. I think it's kind of important that we protect it. Does a double edge KO the Sneasler? Sorry for taking so long. I'm just going to protect. I wasn't able to calc this at all. So yeah, my bad. I couldn't write. Let's just check this out. It would have done 80%, 70 to 80% to the Sneasler. So I think that protecting was the best choice here. Parting shot. Oh, it went onto the Sneasler, so this protect was even better than I thought it would be. Liquidation. Oh, we survive at 5 HP. Okay, and Brave Bird goes through. We are going to do so much damage. Oh, this is absolutely phenomenal. And the best thing here is that we actually... this is very good, by the way. We actually just get Scovillain up, right? And what is going to happen now? So now the Sneasler is in a fantastic position, because the Sneasler can just do whatever it wants, right? So that is very important. Looking into my opponent's team, we can see that my opponent probably has a Sneasler of its own, or because it wanted to bring it, went for the parting shot, it's probably the Alcremie in the bag. So I'm fairly confident about that. I am just going to close combat the Insane. No, I'm not. I'm going to Dire Claw the Insane, and I'm going to Mega and Rage Powder. Now, what's going to happen here? My opponent is probably just going for the parting shot again onto the Scovillain. That is totally fine, right? And it's going to be probably a Liquidation or a Double Edge from the Feraligatr. That is also fine, because we can survive that, right? Now, what's going to happen here? We are actually just going to be able to burn the Feraligatr, which is going to be very important, because my opponent won't be able to do any damage to us, right? Double Edge goes through. It does KO the Scovillain, which is... I mean, it's expected, right? Our Scovillain has a lot of bulk, but we are probably talking about a max attack adamant Feraligatr. And that is kind of scary, to be honest. It does a lot of damage. Yeah, Double Edge. Yeah, it always KOs. I mean, it was a high roll. It had a 31% chance to KO us. But now we are in a good position, because Trick Room just ended, and we have 2 very, very fast Pokemon here in the Sneasler and the Basculegion, right? Now, we do have a burned Feraligatr that is actually still just going to be doing a good amount of damage. So, what do I want to do now? The Caesar is just probably going for a Bullet Punch. I don't think my opponent KOs us. I'm just going to Dire Claw the Feraligatr. We should pick up the KO easily, and just less respects the Caesar. And I think we should be fine. Caesar protects, okay. That is just... I mean, it won't do anything, right? So we know that we kill the Feraligatr, even though the Feraligatr has a lot of defense, right? It had barely any HP left. And now we are just in a fantastic position because my opponent can't really do anything to the Basculegion, right, or the Sneasler to be fair. And yeah, it was just a GG. So yeah, let's go into the next one. Okay, so this is a pretty obvious Perish Trap team. Now that scares me a bit because this matchup is kinda hard for us. It's a little bit hard for us. And how can we deal with this? I mean, I think that leading Basque could be good. Let me just check. It's bulky Perish. Let's go for the Basque. -1 Basque. Wave Crash. Oh, it doesn't... yeah. It doesn't do anything. So... am I looking into a T-Tar? Is it a T-Tar angle here? T-Tar Basque? I think it could be nice. I think Excadrill has to appear. And yeah, we can bring Sneasler. I think I did troll a bit. I think the lead was actually Sneasler so that we could get more value of the Incineroar lead from the opponent. Because if that happened, yeah, I think I kinda messed that up. But it's fine, I think. I think it's fine. And why am I saying that this is fine? I can actually just go... let's think. My opponent is going to just knock off... not knock off. It's going to fake out the T-Tar slot, right? So... Excadrill, who's the most threatening one? It could be just the Excadrill, right? I'm going to lose my Focus Sash, but I think that that's fine. Now I'm actually just going to Wave Crash the Gengar. The Gengar could just go for Protect, which would be just completely viable, right? And then just... I mean, we are always faster than it. So it's probably not a good thing that my opponent would do that. So I'm actually just fine with this. So fake out onto the Excadrill. Like I said, we are going to be losing the Focus Sash, which could be important, but at the moment I'm fine with it. -1 Wave Crash won't KO the Gengar, but like I said, it did around 60%. We are going to get KO'd here, but that is fine, because this is actually fine. Low-key, this is actually fine, because we are just basically just resetting our team here, right? Losing Basculegion is obviously like a detriment to us, right? It's not like the best outcome possible, but at the same time it's not that bad. Because now we can bring the T-Tar or the Sneasler. I just have to think a little bit about who I want to bring. And to be honest, I think that the Sneasler is good. I think that the Sneasler is quite good here. Because now I can just go for a very potent Rock Slide and Close Combat onto the Incine. I don't think that the Gengar survives a Rock Slide. It might actually, it might. So I'm not going for the Rock Slide actually. I'm going for... I think I'm just going for the Iron Head, to be honest. Iron Head and just a Close Combat onto the Incine. The Sinistcha could come through, right? My opponent does not have a Sinistcha, so I think Close Combat is just fine. The Protect with the Gengar, I think it was quite obvious, but that is fine, right? Double Protect. Okay, so this is actually fine. This is very fine with me. The Excadrill is still faster than the Gengar. This is very important because that Pokemon cannot encore or disable my Sneasler because he's going to get KO'd, right? So I think that going for this is still fine. My opponent does not have a good switch-in into any of these moves. So, like I said, to me, this sounds fine. Losing Basculegion was a detriment to us, but I think it was kind of necessary. As we saw, it put my opponent in a very tricky position, right? So yeah, Basculegion is really amazing. A bulky Basculegion here would have also just been very, very good, right? But this was phenomenal. I'm actually just using more of a bulky Basculegion with Mystic Water, and that Pokemon has been putting in the work. Like, it has been amazing. Okay, my opponent did bring the Alolan Ninetales, so this is very good to confirm. We get a special defense drop, so we are going to get our White Hurl and our Speed Boost. This is very, very good for us, right? We are going to get Intimidated in the following turn, which is not optimal, right? But we do get rid of the Gengar, which was a very scary Pokemon to deal with, right? So yeah, this is a good outcome at the end of the day. Now, the Ninetales can just set up the Aurora Veil, which is going to be tricky to deal with. Now, what I can do is actually switch the Sneasler out. Would that be optimal? I do have to think about that. Would that be optimal? Because now I'm not putting a lot of pressure onto my opponent, right? My opponent intimidated two of my physical attackers. Sneasler has a very low HP stat, right? So I kind of just want to switch one of them. I think I am just going to bring the T-Tar. Or I could just protect the Exca and bring the T-Tar. Why am I doing this? I want weather control. Right, weather control is going to be very important. The Excadrill is at -1, but it's still going to be doing a lot of damage, right? And that is very important. The Ninetales could just go for an Aurora Veil, but I think that if my opponent does that, I think it's a little bit rough for them. Let's see, Blizzard, 20 Teleprotect, and the T-Tar avoids it. So this is absolutely phenomenal, right? Now we do have the advantage here once more. I just want to go for a very simple play that is going to be the Iron Head onto the Ninetales and a very solid Rock Slide. I think that this is a fine outcome. Now King Gambit could be in the back, and I could just prepare myself for that. But I'm not really worried right now. So I actually could just go for a double Rock Slide, no? It will get the KO. No, I think it's... No, I want to get rid of the Alolan Ninetales, and it's a Rock Slide. Yeah, I think this is it. I don't want to Mega in case my opponent went for a switch. My opponent did not go for the switch, so that is actually just fine. It can go for the Flare Blitz. Oh, it's so much damage. Awesome. For the Flare Blitz onto the Excadrill, which would be annoying, but at the end of the day, I don't mind it that much. Okay. So, parting shot onto the T-Tar. Okay. That is fine. That is fine. And my opponent forfeits. Okay. He probably had King Gambit in the back, and he knew that he couldn't defeat us. This is why it was important to preserve the Sneasler. Okay, so we are going against a Trick Room team. A very cool Trick Room team. What can I do here? I mean, Heliolisk is very funny to see. I can lead... My opponent does not have Fake Out, right? So I can just lead T-Tar. So T-Tar and just knock off whatever my opponent wants to do, to bring or whatever. Do I want to just focus on offense and just go with the Excadrill? Because my team is extremely fast. And I'm kind of scared of that, right? Yeah, like Corviknight here doesn't look that appealing. If my opponent sets up Trick Room, I'm not in a good position at all. Because Camerupt can just hop in. Yeah, I think I have to go for the Basque. I think it's Basque and probably Sneasler. Yeah, let's see what happens. So the goal here is just to overwhelm my opponent, right? That is the main goal. Is to just overwhelm the opponent with offense. I actually don't know if I will be able to do that, but yeah. Yippee and Camerino. Okay. This is kind of fine by me, right? The knockoff from Mega T-Tar should KO. If my opponent is Colberberry, knockoff does 68%, which is still good, right? So my opponent only wins if they set up the Trick Room. So you can bet everything that I'm just going to go for that. High horsepower has a chance to miss. It's 95. I think I'm going for the Iron Head. I'm not going to test the waters here. It is a more complicated role, but it's still in our favor. So Mega Camerupt. Is my opponent not even going to set up the Trick Room? Imagine the Chad if he just went for Eruption. Ah, okay. Okay. So yeah, Iron Head onto the Farigiraf. This should be KO. Even with the Colberberry. Oh my god, I should have went for the high horsepower, man. Oh my god, man. This always... Okay, never mind. Never mind. The crash shot didn't happen. I kind of want to see... Jesus Christ, okay. I screwed this up. I'm just going to go for the Rock Slide and the high horsepower onto the Camerupt. The flinch was unfortunate. In retrospective, I should have just went for the high horsepower. That was stupid of me. Double protect, yeah, you had to go for that. You also just shouldn't use that lead, right? This lead is... I don't know, man. What were you thinking that were... Right? I was never going to lead with my Fake Out Pokemon, right? Because you have Farigiraf. So I always had to lead with my most offensive thing against you, so... I mean, yeah. I'm still like what I want to say is that in a way we were still lucky, right? Because we actually prevented the Trick Room with a flinch, which I'm not that happy about, but it is what it is, I guess. And yeah, so I'm just going to Iron Head the Ninetales. I think I'm just yapping. I'm just rambling. I'm not even making sense right now. I'm sorry about that. But to me that lead doesn't make much sense, right? Dragon Pulse onto the Excadrill. Okay. Let's just break the Focus Sash. Makes sense, right? Iron Head goes through onto the Ninetales. Yeah, Ninetales gets down to 1 HP, which is very cool. And to be honest, yeah, I can just fake out the Ninetales slot and just go for the high horsepower onto the Heliolisk. We know that the Heliolisk is probably, I mean, it's probably Choice Scarf, right? Yeah, and yeah, it's a GG. We kinda got saved a bit. I didn't like that, but yeah. And with this, we reach the conclusion of this video. I want to thank you all for supporting the channel and for watching the video so far. I hope you all enjoyed the battles. I know that this video was very extensive, but it was a lot of fun to just record and play with these teams. I think they are very good, and I had a lot of fun and success with them. And yeah, not much else to say other than thank you for watching the video so far. I'll be posting more often. I think I'm going to start a new segment on the channel. I think I spoke about this in the previous video, but it will be a segment called No Nodes, where I'm going to be producing less editing intense videos, and I'm going to challenge myself where I have 1 minute to explain one team, and I have to then immediately jump into battles. So that's a challenge that I want to make. It will be a way for, I mean, all kinds of viewers to like watch the content. I think that the videos will still be a little bit on the longer side, I mean, but yeah, it will just be a lot of fun. Just go directly into the battles and experience a team that has won tournaments or that is common, you know, something like that. I think that's a thing and an idea that can work quite well. But yeah, let me know what you think about this idea. I'll be doing a poll about this in the channel, so if you want to vote there, feel free to do so. If you want to comment something there, you are also very welcomed into doing so. So yeah, I'll be very happy if you do so. And yeah, I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Bye bye.